A lot of people are jumping off that whole strict carnivore diet, lion diet, snake diet, and they're introducing things like fruit and carbs and things back into their diets. Big influencers like Paul Saladino and Thomas DeLauer. Now, I've been telling everybody for years that you should never do carnivore for the long term. So how do you navigate going back to vegetables? What kind? Should you do low carb? Should you do ketogenic? Let's get into it. Welcome everyone to my humble life, where it's a little bit chilly here in the camper as I'm getting my house built, but that's okay. I'm loving my life. Let's get into the subject of how do you navigate back to the plant world? What kind of plants? Should you do fruit? Should you do rice? Or should you stick with cruciferous vegetables? And why you would choose one over the other? Yeah. Okay. The people, first of all, I think no one should be doing a carnivore diet long term, because you're not having that fermentation process of fiber, which helps stabilize the gut microbiome, as well as heal a leaking gut and help with the production of diamine oxidase, which helps lower your histamine. A lot of people who do this strict carnivore diet will get bloated if they add back plants. Now, there are some people, they react to everything. And I know it feels really great to cut out all your plant matter. But if you look at Michaela Peterson, who's so strict with her beef, she started having sensitivities to her beef. Yeah, it's a thing. If you continue to eat mono foods without stabilizing the gut, yeah, you can actually develop worsening symptoms, a rebound effect of histamine, doing a meat-only diet. We've got the fruitarian, meat-based people. We have your cruciferous vegetable people, and then we have our introducing starches back. The people who would eat starches are people who cannot get away from severe hypoglycemia, dysglycemia, insulin issues, and when they do keto, they can't get their stress down, their cortisol is cranking out, gluconeogenesis, the blood sugar spiking. They feel terrible. These are the people that crash in the afternoon, or tired when they wake up and head for the coffee, or wake up in the middle of the night. And some of these people feel better going back to a starch. Parsnip, sweet potato, rice, jasmine rice, measured perfectly. And also people who've got a gallbladder issue. Yeah, they can't break down the fat, so they opt to do a carb diet, which is lower in fat, higher in carbohydrate. But of course, the point to do a low carb, high fat diet is really to get that gallbladder to start working properly, get the bile salts to be liberated, unthickified, not be in this thick honey texture, and then be able to break down the fat so you can make the ketones or get your fat soluble vitamins or your omega-3s. But for those who do low carb, high fat because they're like, I need variety, y'all are weak sauce. I'm sorry. No, but to each his own. And then we have our fruitarians, meatitarian fruitarians. What is that? Meat-based fruitarians are sugar addicts. They do it because they're trying to balance their electrolytes and get some energy. But you can't restore the gas tank of the car on fruit. You can't. Lasts about 5-10 minutes, then you crash. A lot of people have a hard time metabolizing fruit in the liver, the fructose, and have fructose sensitivities and blood sugar dysregulation. Run, Forrest, run. Run with a cross and some garlic from the fruit, the sweet fruit and carnivore. You're never going to get into ketosis, and you're not going to establish glycogen storages, so you pretty much are wrecking your adrenals. I know. Yeah, and dysregulating your blood sugar and putting a real big burden on your liver, since fructose has to be. Yeah, it has to go through the liver, process through the liver, and it turns into triglycerides right away. We don't want that. And then we have our cruciferous vegetable people, and that's a good one. Cruciferous vegetables, those are your broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, cabbage, Brussels sprouts. They're the crunchy, really bitter vegetables. Now, raw to a thyroid person who's got hypothyroidism, they're a little dangerous because they can block iodine from getting into the thyroid. But if they're well cooked, they have potassium, and they got a little fiber, a little prebiotic fiber to stabilize the gut microbiome. And before I forget, the non-sweet fruits like olives and avocados, especially avocados, are great. Avocados are great for the potassium, but that's a whole nother subsection of the fruit that is actually great and allowed. But back to the cruciferous. Some people bloat and feel terrible on all plants. Y'all are going to need a pressure cooker. You're going to have to titrate up very slowly. I mean, you could start with 15 grams or a tablespoon one time a day and work up your tolerance while trying to get sleep and stress and your fats and everything regulated, so that gut wall can seal back up. And the best way to do that is to rotate your foods and not just be a zealot all meat dieter. You could do, if you can tolerate small amounts of this plant and then that plant in small amounts, rotate every 3 or 4 days, you will notice that you can tolerate these plants more and more. If you can keep your stress down and do not fast, because it makes the gut wall very weak and you stay sensitive to those foods. Cruciferous vegetables are perfect. They've got the right amount of prebiotic fiber, and they have the right amount of potassium that we need to balance our electrolytes. And that would be ketotic people, because you're trying to drive ketosis, high fat, moderate to low protein, and low carbohydrate for the fermentation, so you can create lovely, lovely, healthy gut microbiome made from short chain fatty acids to help seal that gut wall. I think I'm going to do a series of this because I can't do it all in one video. I had to really kind of explain who should do what, like what person should go this vegetables or that vegetables and why, because the solutions are bountiful. Yeah, like you might go over dropping your carbs if you're low carb, high fat, and do it over 4 or 5 weeks and go down slowly in amounts, and then the amount per day or the times per day to then every other day to phasing it out completely. Though nobody should be doing fruit, so unless it's, sweet fruit, like strawberries and oranges and grapes and all the sweet stuff you love. But like I said, olives, avocados, for those who don't have a thyroid problem, de-skinned and de-seeded tomatoes, and a little bit of coconut meat if you don't have a sensitivity to it. But otherwise, y'all, that sweet fruit, bye, 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 bye. And good night. And then you would incorporate the cruciferous vegetables, 200 grams of fat, rotate your fats. Stuff I always talk about. People are like, I want the solution. But I really think that doing an intro on how to start keto for beginners, or how to go off of carnivore to start keto, we're just doing a quickie tonight. Stay tuned for part 2 of how to actually really do it. If you have a gallbladder problem, if you have severe histamine intolerance, if you have chronic constipation, and fiber makes you more constipated, because it does with some people. Comment below, share this content, because that's how people find me, really. And my Instagram is Stephanie Ketogenic. My Facebook fan page is Stephanie the Business Person. My energy is high, but I'm tired because I had to take my donkey to another state to get this specialist to check his laminitis, and from last year to this year it got better, so that's really good. But between that, and I'm taking over ownership of my mom's dog because a woman doesn't want to watch it anymore, I've had to try to adapt this camper to a frail, barely can see, hear, and walk with no teeth dog to a very hyper vibrant Labrador puppy that likes to jump on everything that moves, like with both paws. Boink, boink, boink. And this little old dog, this little old tiny little dog cannot handle it. So been trying to build some stuff and fix some stuff in this place. And I'm out because now I gotta edit this. And more good content coming. This is just a quickie, even though it's not. Wait for the part 2. And I'm out. Peace. Energy-ish. If you need a consultation, by the way, go to stephanieperson.com when I have more energy. And you can go to Stephanie Ketogenic on my Instagram. My Facebook fan page is Stephanie the Business Person. I do run a monthly course where I really go deep into how to navigate between the 3 diets and why. And now I'm officially out.